Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a really fascinating connection: the quiet, silent world underwater and the unique, incredible wiring of the human brain.
So, we're exploring a question that might surprise you. Can a high-risk sport like scuba diving actually be a perfect match for a neurodivergent mind? We're going to see how it can be made not just accessible, but, incredibly beneficial, but only when it's approached in exactly the right way. I know, at first glance, scuba diving and neurodiversity, they might seem like a pretty unlikely pair, right? But let's break down the core idea that actually connects these two worlds together. Okay, so at the very heart of all this is the concept of neurodiversity. It's this idea that brain differences, things like autism or ADHD, aren't disorders that we need to fix. Instead, they're just natural variations, kind of like any other part of human diversity. And that simple shift in thinking, well, it reframes the entire conversation. And this represents a huge shift in perspective. The old medical model basically says the person has a problem that needs to be treated. But the social model, which is what neurodiversity is all about, it completely flips that question. It asks, how is the environment creating a problem? That is such a powerful change. We stop trying to fix a person and start fixing the world around them to be more inclusive. So what is it that makes this pairing of diving and neurodiversity so compelling? And, on the flip side, what are the very real dangers that absolutely have to be taken seriously?
Well, the benefits here can be just profound. For so many people, the underwater world is a sanctuary. That feeling of weightlessness, the quiet, the focus on just your breathing, it can be incredibly calming, almost meditative. It gives you this unique sensory environment that can boost confidence, seriously improve focus, and even create some really cool, structured ways for social connection. And look, this is not some niche issue. Neurodivergent conditions are really common. If you just look at the UK, for example, about 1 in every 10 people has dyslexia, and you see significant percentages for ADHD and for those on the autism spectrum. So this makes creating accessible pathways in all sorts of activities, including diving, so incredibly important. However, and this is a big however, we have to balance all those potential benefits with a really clear-eyed view of the risks. That same sensory environment that can be super calming for one person, it could be totally overwhelming for another. Communication underwater is absolutely critical, and maintaining focus isn't just, a suggestion, it's literally a matter of life and death. So how do we bridge that gap between the incredible potential on one side and the serious risk on the other? Well, the key isn't changing the activity itself. It's all about changing the instruction. Adaptive teaching is not about lowering the standards for safety, not at all. It's about personalizing the delivery of the training. So that means using visual aids instead of just long lectures, creating predictable routines to help lower anxiety, and really leaning into hands-on, multi-sensory practice to build up that skill and confidence. It's all about meeting the student exactly where they are. Wow. This quote, it really puts the weight of responsibility exactly where it belongs, doesn't it? It's not on the student to try and conform to some rigid teaching style. Nope. It's on the instructor to become aware, to get educated, and to be prepared to adapt. The safety of everyone involved truly depends on it. And while those teaching methods can be flexible, let's be crystal clear. The fundamental rules of safety are completely 100% non-negotiable. There is zero room for error. I love this way of thinking about it. It's like a dual key system for a bank vault. First, you've got the doctor. They have to sign off confirming that the person is medically fit to handle all the physiological stresses of diving. But that's only one key. The second key, and you could argue it's the more critical one, is held by the instructor. They make the final call on whether the student can actually perform the required skills safely in the water. And this just underscores a critical reality of diving. It is a team sport. An instructor's decision to certify a diver isn't just about that one person. An unsafe diver puts their buddy in danger and any potential rescuers too. So that final assessment, it protects everyone in the water. But here's the amazing part. When the right environment and the right support are in place, neurodiversity isn't something to just be managed or accommodated. It can be a source of incredible, sometimes even world-changing strength. I mean, just take Bill Gates. He's talked about his struggles with dyslexia and ADHD in a mainstream school setting, yet he co-founded Microsoft and completely reshaped the world of technology as we know it.
Or think about Simone Biles, one of the most decorated gymnasts in history. She's been really open about having ADHD and taking medication for it, fighting back against the stigma and proving that focus can be channeled in truly extraordinary ways.
And then you have Greta Thunberg, who actually calls her autism her superpower. She credits it with giving her the intense focus to see the world's challenges with such clarity, and she became this powerful global voice for change. All of these incredible examples point to the same truth: creating accessible pathways. Whether it's in technology or sports or even in the deep blue sea, it allows this incredible human potential to just flourish. It reminds us that when we change the environment to fit the person, instead of trying to force the person to fit the environment, we don't just accommodate a difference. We might just unlock a superpower.